and welcome to SF Live. I'm your host, Christina Marie Flores. We have a wonderful show for you tonight. When a family decides to adopt a child, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful way to welcome a child into their family. And when a family decides that they have 20 children, 14 of which they have adopted, 9 of which have special needs, it's nothing short of a miracle. And that miracle tonight is the DeBolt family. We have a member of the DeBolt family with us tonight, as well as the executive director of AASK, which is Adopt a Special Kid, the foundation that the DeBolt family created. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Very
Great to be
good.
here.
So Doni and Vali. Doni DeBolt from the DeBolt family. Tell me a little bit about your parents and how AASK came to be.
Well, as you said, there was 20 of us kids, which you said is a miracle. I think it's amazing. I have 2 kids and don't know how our parents ever did it, but they did. Mm-hmm. We started out with 5 of us being biological kids. My mom, Dorothy, had 5 children, ended up adopting 2 more kids, mm-hmm. and then her husband died of a brain tumor unexpectedly. And as a widow, then with 7 children, adopted 2 more boys. These 2 boys, Tuck and On, are from Vietnam. They both are paralyzed from the waist down, having sustained injuries as innocent children in the Vietnam War. They were 14 when we adopted them. So if you can imagine, Christina Marie, here's my mom with 5 biological kids that look like her. 4 kids, 2 from Korea, 2 from Vietnam. So now she's got 9 kids, and she moves to Piedmont.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's what the neighbor said. Oh, my God. What is happening here? And then she meets this man named Bob DeBolt on a blind date, and they get married 6 months later. And that's where I came in, because I was the kid on the block who had no brothers and sisters and always prayed, oh, please, God, could I have maybe 2 brothers and 1 sister? So I'm very careful what I pray for, because I have a feeling I have a direct line, because I became the 10th kid.
Wow!
And,
before you go even any further, this is amazing. So she met on a blind date.
On a blind date, and they both had told their mutual friend, "This is the last time you're setting me up on a blind date. This is it."
Now, at what point did your mom actually tell him that, by the way, I have a few kids?
Well, that's one thing that we loved. All of us girls, 10 boys, going out on dates, and some of them bomb. You come home, you're crying, and our mom could always top us with the worst date story. And it usually ended up when the gentleman would say something like, well, yes, I have 2 children, and here's their pictures, and my mom would just, roll out her, look like a Rolodex,
slap, slap, slap,
flap,
slap,
flap, flap,
slap,
flap, and off onto the floor, and here's my kids, and then the gentleman would excuse himself to go to the bathroom, and she'd be stuck with the restaurant bill and no way to get home, and would call one of us girls up to drive her home. So we loved her so much for those stories. It always made us feel better. But so then there was 10 of us, and then as a family together, we adopted 10 more kids. It was not a decision that Mom and Dad would make, and okay, kids, you're going to have a new brother. It's like, okay, you guys, we found out about this little girl named Karen.
Now, did you, as a child, have a choice? Did you get together and go, hey, enough already? I mean, I don't want to have any more. I mean, honestly, did the
I
kids...
felt that way after my second child. Enough, okay?
But as a sibling, potentially bringing in more and more kids, did you say, at any point, I think there's enough of us, or did you welcome more?
It really seems like we should have felt that way. But I think the key here was the way that our mom and dad love us. Not loved, because thank you, Lord, they're both still alive.
That's wonderful.
But the way that they loved us, everybody was loved so deeply, uniquely, and individually that you never felt, you were sharing, definitely, but you never felt like you only got a little piece of the pie. You felt like you were part of that pie, and that pie was so exhilarating, so thrilling. You learned about people from different cultures. You learned about talents that you had no idea of. You learned how to be a better person. You learned how to not take life for granted. You learned that, when you're a teenager and you have a zit on your chin, it can be life-ending. It could be you wake up in the morning, I'm not going to school, oh my God, bad hair day, bad zit day, and then you come downstairs for breakfast. have to be there by 7:20 in the morning for breakfast, or you have breakfast with an egg on top for dinner.
Okay.
We won't even go there. But you had to have some manage to the chaos, right? But you come downstairs for breakfast, and then here's your brothers and sisters sitting there with braces and crutches.
Yeah.
Artificial eye, perhaps.
So you appreciate
Just so
what you have.
ready
Yeah.
to go to school, so roaring ready for life, and you're thinking, oh, yeah, you know what? Let's eat breakfast so we don't have to have it for dinner. Let's go. Let's do it. So it's just a wonderful way to grow up. I've been blessed.
That's amazing. It's amazing. The family, actually, it was made into a movie. And the name of the movie, Who Are the DeBolts, and where did they get 19 kids?
19. Do you know what we did the minute that was in print? We adopted the 20th kid.
Okay, to make it even.
Yeah, well, it goes with
like
my
forming a
parents'
team or
personality.
something?
It's like, keep them guessing all the time. Yes, that's right. There was a book, 19 Steps Up the Mountain, the story of the DeBolt family, and then the documentary, Who Are the DeBolts, and where they get 19 kids, and then actually a sequel with Stepping Out, the DeBolts Grow Up.
That's amazing. And also that you had received awards from President Nixon, President Ford, President Reagan. Did you ever get to meet any of them?
I got to meet Reagan, and luckily it was my mom and my dad and our dear grandmother Nana, who was a staunch Republican. And we got to go to the White House because my mom was getting a Humanitarian of the Year award in Washington, D.C. We went into the Oval Office to meet Reagan, who has quite a presence, incredible charisma, and never mind that I'm a Democrat. Suddenly I'm just, oh my gosh, in the face of somebody historic and huge. And I go to shake his hand. We have a picture of it. And I said, "It's so nice to meet you, President Roosevelt."
Oh, no.
And he said, whoops. He said, "I've been called a lot of things in my life, but I've never been called that." So that was actually when I got yanked off the stage, I believe. We thought of adopting a child. Traditionally, I think we thought of adopting a Caucasian, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, beautiful baby. The type of baby that perhaps we weren't able to have but would really want. And what my parents found is this huge amount of children who are considered unadoptable, meaning maybe they were over the age of 5, or they were part of a sibling group, really needed to be adopted along with their sister or their brother, or they were of mixed race, or they were other than Caucasian.
Now, what year is this?
disabled.
Because that seems so wrong to me.
I believe it was 1973.
Really? That
Yeah.
recently? That's amazing.
And the red tape that my parents went through for every adoption, and for every adoption that they helped their friends with, they started to really become well connected with other people who were just as jazzed about adopting these special kids as my parents were. The red tape was excruciatingly difficult, especially when there was one child my mom was trying to help adopt, who during the adoption process in Vietnam died of complications from diabetes. And that was really a kicker for my mom, because she knew that if she could somehow restructure the adoption process and get these kids going into families that really are waiting and loving and wanting them, that she could make a difference. So we started, yes, in the basement of the garage, and I remember our parents saying at dinner time, this is what they were going to do, that this was their passion. And I also remember shortly after that, my dad coming home from work. He was a very successful businessman. He said, "Hi, honey, I'm home." "Oh, yeah, you're home early. How come?" "Well, I quit."
Oh.
"You what?" And essentially, not everybody knows this, but my dad quit his job in order to fulfill the dream that my mom started, to start this adoption agency. And the love that you see between my mom and dad is really the glue that held all of us from all these religions, all these cultures, all these abilities and disabilities all together, because of the glue of the love and then the passion that they have to help other families adopt children with special needs.
Wow, what a wonderful story. That is amazing.